All right, hello again. Welcome back. We are on chapter 17 of Move Over Extroverts, the chapter on leverage and leverage in somewhat unexpected places because we all know leverage as you normally hear it, an assistant, hiring out tasks in your home, landscapers, housekeepers, delivery service, that sort of thing. But I thought it would be interesting to talk about some of the other ways that we can leverage not only our time, but more our brain power. So that's what this chapter is really all about. So I'm going to stop talking and let you guys take the floor. Does anyone have any comments or questions on this chapter, this topic?
I don't really have any comments. I just, this is my first meeting, so I will get the book. And so I'm excited to kind of dive into it. So, um,
I'm glad that you're here.
I I liked seeing that creating a business plan was the first thing mentioned because we're in business planning season right now. I'm actually going to my first business planning clinic that that our region holds in a couple weeks. So although I kind of sort of set a business plan each year, this is my first like year officially doing it like the KW way. So I really was like, oh, I never thought of setting the business plan as leverage, but I like how you mentioned that as a leverage piece. And I agree with you that actually taking the time and doing it and then following it is leverage.
Yeah, I know it doesn't seem like it at the surface, but think about the alternative. If you didn't have a business plan, every
Mhm.
day you're showing up to your desk or to the office and you're like, what do I do? And you have to figure it out. That's such an incredible
mhm,
waste of time and energy. It's better to just figure it out up front and then tweak it, certainly, as the year goes on.
mhm,
But at least you don't have to spend that time every single day figuring out what you're doing.
mhm. And I'm not sure if you guys have talked about this before, but as we all know, AI is a big thing right now, and it's not going away. So using that to help um, with your business plan. And has anybody used that as leverage to create the plan to get even more granular? Um, that would be something I would think that would be pretty useful in creating your business plan.
I like the idea. I haven't used it personally. Has anyone else experimented with that?
I haven't, but I have like at our last like growth mastermind, I have heard like, some of like our tech trainers are kind of like
Hmm.
putting in business plans and putting in stuff and then
Hmm.
kind of asking the prompt or whatever. I don't even really know enough to,
Yeah.
whatever yet. Like I know people are doing that
Hmm. Yeah.
and having success with it. But
I
they are
think,
saying also to be careful with like
Hmm.
what you're putting in, like, and
Yeah.
making sure you're using a paid version or something so that it's
Right.
your stuff's protected.
Yeah, and they talked about a couple ways to protect your data in using it, but I think you know doing those best practices of protecting your data
Mhm.
um, can definitely help. Um, setting up your weekly calendar, your monthly task, your what are all those things, and then how do you automate that into a command, and so that you're leveraging out all of your systems when you do your business plan. So,
yeah, I'm all for using whatever tool is going to work for you.
hmm. Hmm.
And I want to just take a quick second and de-Kellerize the conversation because there are other people here from
Oh,
other
my
companies.
apologies.
Oh, no, no, don't apologize at all. Um, it's also evergreen. We record these and put them on YouTube. So if anyone
Gotcha.
is in other brokerages, I just want to explain what we're talking about.
Hmm.
So every year in September, October, November, usually September, October, we call that business planning season. And I recommend it for everyone in every brokerage to take time now in the fall to do your business plan for the following year and then start implementing it now and build that momentum, build that runway. When we use the term command, that's our CRM system that we have in-house. So whatever CRM you're using to communicate with your people and stay in touch, that's what you're going to want to do there. So I also, quick plug, I do personal, like one-on-one business plans with individuals. And that's like an a la carte coaching service I offer because I know that it can be really overwhelming, especially if you haven't done a lot of them. It can be hard to do on your own. So if anyone watching needs some extra help, please let me know. All right, beautiful. What else? So business plan is really the first one. And then we also talk in the book about using, I wrote it down because I forgot what I wrote. Using processes and systems. For instance, when you get a new lead or when you sign a new client, what's your process? If you
Well,
figure,
that's probably definitely helping you this week
yeah,
with
exactly.
getting that quick lead and the quick turnaround time for you.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, can you imagine? I was sharing before I started the recording that I got a new lead last weekend, and the time between the lead coming in to us having our first open house is only a week. So we're doing photos and we're prepping everything, and I'm a little bit scrambling, but thankfully I've done it so many times that I know what to do. Can you imagine if I was a brand new agent trying to do this all in 1 week? That's insane. Like that,
Yeah, or if you didn't have systems in
right?
Hmm.
place that
Hmm.
you know, have established.
Right. So having systems and knowing what you're going to do, just again, to leverage your brain power and not have to decide on the fly, that's also going to provide a higher level of customer service for your clients. Everyone's getting the same level of attention, the same type of photos, all the things. And then the third piece of this is letting go of perfectionism, which I think
That's
is a type of leverage. You guys may agree or disagree.
that's a hard one to do. It's a very hard, at least for me it is.
I think it's hard for most of us. There might be some very, very high D's who don't
Mhm.
get caught in the weeds of making things perfect. But I think that's the exception, not the rule. So I'd love to hear thoughts or questions around these three topics, or if anyone has another piece of leverage that we haven't talked about that you'd like to share, maybe something that's working well for you. Have you gotten your time back or your energy back lately?
One of the things I use, again, this is in Command, but before we had Command, even when I used DocuSign for, signature system as opposed to, I'm sorry, Dotloop for a signature system as opposed to DocuSign.
Mhm.
Dotloop had a built-in um, task list system, and I liked it better actually than commands because it would send me an email every day that says, here's what you're supposed to do today, here's what you're supposed to do tomorrow. So I used it for the contract to close process. So I got an email every day saying, here's what's due today, which was very cool. And so Command doesn't do that. They have your task list. You just have to proactively go there. It doesn't get delivered to your email every day. So
Yep.
they do have a way to set up task lists um, in Command, but I find that very, very helpful for me as leverage when I'm in transactions. I set up, once I go under contract, I set up that system, each deadline, the whole deadline from list of deadlines from contract to close. So I have something that helps me keep on track and remember what I have to do each day for that contract, or reminds me when the deadlines are. And I find that to be very useful leverage to keep me on track.
Yeah, absolutely. Checklists. That's what it's all about. It is nice if you can find or create a system that will proactively email you every day. I know there's an app called Todoist. There are different programs and things that aren't quite as ready to go as Dotloop was. But you could take the time to create that. And again, making sure that not only are you leveraging your brain space, but you're also making sure nothing falls through the cracks for your deals. And that's a good kind of in between for when you have deals, but maybe it doesn't make sense quite yet to hire a transaction coordinator or an admin. That's a nice kind of in between to have those checklists for yourself. And then if you do decide to hire someone down the road, you can just give them the checklist, especially if they're not coming from real estate and they don't know what they need to be helping you with. Here you go. I already made this. Save you lots of time. Awesome. Thank you. Who else wants to share? Could be something that you're doing that's working really well, or something, an area where you're maybe struggling and could use a little bit of leverage.
I'll add this, I guess, leverage as knowledge, I guess, if you will. One of the things that has helped me is I read a book called Getting Things Done, The Art of Stress-Free Productivity. And it helped me in a way to look at those tasks in a different light, where, when you have as if you're, I'm not an agent, but I'm well aware of, was in the market center at one time. When you have all of these things that you're trying to fit into your day and how it can be overwhelming. And to not let them slide through the cracks. I highly recommend this book. Um, and it just kind of gets you on a way of thinking about what is high priority, what can be done in the next 3 minutes, what is someday a task. So it's just a different way of looking at it. And that helped me in my brain when I'm thinking about all the things that I need to do and how I'm going to get those done. Um, so it's a great book. So it might be something if you're struggling with overwhelm of all the things, it kind of helps you do that brain dump and then kind of sets you on a trajectory of calming all the noise and things that happen in your head about what you're going to get done in your day, week.
That's awesome. Would you mind putting that in the chat for
Yeah,
everybody?
sure can.
Thank you. Great book suggestion. I actually have not read that one, but I've heard about it.
Yeah.
I would add to The One Thing is a great book for
Yes.
productivity, paring down the to-do list.
May have missed it. Ashley, did you have a recommendation on a system to use for your to-do list items?
You didn't miss it. We didn't talk about it yet on this call. I use an old school legal pad. This is just for my daily to-dos. So I also have a list of tasks, which are mainly people to keep in touch with. That lives in my CRM, which is Command. And I use like checklists and like more basic checklists for my buyers and sellers. At this point, I kind of have it memorized, so I don't review it for every single deal. Um, and then I also put important dates into my calendar. And I use an Excel, like a Google Sheet for my active deals. And that tracks the important dates all in one place, and where people are kind of moving through the process. I have another spreadsheet for active leads and where they are in the process. So I use a combination of a lot of tools. I'm not saying that's the best method, but that has been what I've found works well for me and how my brain works. Yeah, for the daily tasks though, I have a checklist, paper, and I have little open boxes and then I can X them off. And if there's something that absolutely has to get done today, I'll put a star next to it just to kind of so it's in the line I can see going down like which things have stars.
So you don't add it onto your calendar, right?
Most of my tasks don't live in my calendar, no. If there's something I need to remember in the future, but I don't need to remember it right now, then I will use the reminder feature in my phone, the reminder app, and I'll schedule it ahead of time. Like, for instance, if I know I'm going to need to dress comfortably for something or wear a certain type of shoes or, whatever, I'll put that for 7 a.m. when I'm getting ready and it'll pop up and remind me. Or if I need to grab something from the house so I don't forget, I'll do that for the night before. Because I don't trust that I'm going to be looking at this yellow paper at exactly the right time.
Yeah, I use that reminder app constantly.
It's so good.
Hmm.
Then it's like it's in your face. You can't ignore it.
I can share a little bit
Please do.
on leverage. Hi, everyone. So, in the beginning of your chapter, you talked about other common types of leverage usually discussed are hiring a housekeeper, a landscaper, or a laundry service. And so last year we really went into hiring people. And so we hired some assistants. I work with a TC, and then we also thought, and we as in my wife and I thought, oh, well, let's hire like a house helper and we can, just start with something like, oh, how about some cleaning? And then it became, I think one of the benefits of leverage is that when I'm doing it, I'm just thinking about what do I have to do and how am I going to do it. But then if someone else is doing it, even just a little bit, then it makes a little bit of space, some white space. And it's like, oh, wait, oh, they can also do that. And so, the house helper, like, oh, they go refill the water bottles, they go get the mail, they water the plants, right? Like all these little things. It's like, okay, what other little task can oh, they take out the recycling. So it's just like a little by little. And then, so that's been really helping with reclaiming time and energy. And then, even little errands, right? Getting prescriptions. Um, and then with respect to the assistants, I think the systems that you were talking about, the protocols and systems, I think what was happening with me in particular was that I didn't really have a system. And so initially I was just like making a request to take care of something and they didn't know how to take care of it because I didn't give them like an SOP. And so I've had to do the brain damage and difficulty of creating the system with them that would, kind of work for them. And also not knowing how to hire people, like learning how to better do that. So, so far so good. Now things are a little bit better. Things are improving, and it's starting to. I knew in the beginning like it was a little more time intensive, but then I knew later on if I do this correctly, it's going to save me time later, and I'm starting to reap the benefits of some of those processes and actions. So there you go.
I love it. Thank you for sharing. I especially like how you started with somebody doing a few tasks and then added on more and more. Yeah, that's great. And looking in the chat here, I do recommend time blocking for a task that you know is going to take a chunk of time. Absolutely. We covered that in the time blocking section, and it's hugely important. Make sure you're using your colors. Um, and some of the tasks can get done during white space as well. It just depends what it is. Like, for example, expired letters pretty regularly, once a week. And so I block off 2 to 3 hours for doing that because I know that's the only thing I'm going to be doing in that time. But everything else, like on my list today, I have to send this person a text. I have to reply to this person's email. So like this stuff can all get filled in during that like workspace or white space or whatever. Yeah. But again, do what
can I
works for you and try different things.
can I piggyback off of that, Ashley?
Yeah.
You know, when I do tasks, I don't write every little one on there, but what I've been doing lately is I create an all day appointment.
Mhm.
And those types of small tasks, actually, I do it for the week. And I kind of keep notes in the one appointment for the week. And then at the end of the week, that's when I'm writing, like, okay, what's going to happen next week? Okay. Then I really can see a clear, all those little things that add up in my day and my work week. I have a clear, oh, this is exactly what I did. Because it's always, you got a minute, or can you help me with that? Things come up. And then you look back on your calendar and you're like, okay, where did all that time go? So that's one little thing that I've been doing lately that I really, really like doing. And because I'm a notebook person too, I like to write things down, but then I end up with all this paper everywhere. So I started doing it on my calendar.
I like that, especially for tracking purposes, to be
Hmm.
able to go back later
Hmm.
and see what absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious, what is your role?
I was a market center administrator in Keller Williams' office, and now I work for KW corporate,
Oh, nice.
supporting office leadership.
Okay.
So,
Very cool.
yeah.
I'm not sure exactly what chapter we're on in the book.
We are on chapter 17, which is
Okay.
leverage.
Um, can I mention something and get your opinion on
Of
it?
course.
I have a transaction coordinator that I really like, that I just started using, just like she's just been helping me the last two transactions. And she's very knowledgeable. She's got like over 20 years experience, and it's her own business, right? So like she dictates her task, right? And then I work around and do the things that she doesn't do. But the problem is she hasn't given me a list of what she is going to do.
Hmm.
So how would you, I've asked for it like months. So do you have a solution for that? Because then I don't know what I'm doing. So I feel like I might be, because I like things to be done quickly and on time. So I feel like I might be taking over some tasks that I'm probably paying her to do. So apart from
Interesting.
asking her to give me the list that she hasn't, do you have a solution?
Yeah. Well, I'm curious. I have a question first. What was her reaction when you asked for the list?
She tells me she'll do it. She tells me she'll give it to me.
Okay. I would just keep asking. I mean, if it feels weird, you can always say, listen, I don't want to be annoying about this, but here's why this is really important for me to have.
I've explained that, yeah.
Wow.
And is it still like, oh, I'm going to send it to you and
Yeah.
then
That's crazy.
is it ending up in
Yeah,
spam?
that's
Like
odd.
that's odd.
Yeah.
No, she's
Yeah.
not like she's never sent it to me. She keeps telling me she's gonna send it. She'll laugh and she's like, "Yeah, I'll get to it. I'll do it."
Maybe
Okay,
she
so
doesn't
And I
maybe
have
didn't
it
send it.
clarified on her own. Maybe she doesn't have that documented
but you
as
should know that if that's the
Well,
case.
yeah.
you should, right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you would hope you would have
Yeah.
So
that.
maybe ask when can I expect to see it?
Okay.
And you can't be the first person that's asked for this, I would
Yeah.
No,
think.
that's a
I
pretty
mean,
Yeah.
standard thing.
Hmm.
yeah.
Because sometimes they even have it in their brochures or their a one pager
Yeah,
where,
I've worked
how,
with other companies and they've always given it to me, and I told her
mhm.
that, and she's like, "Yeah, I'd be curious to see what other companies have." So I don't know if she's wanting me to show
Oh,
her
that means
that
she does.
first, and I'm
That
like,
sounds
"Yeah,
like she
no,
doesn't have
She
it.
give
doesn't
me
have it.
your list. Give me your list." So
She definitely doesn't have it.
And she
Mhm.
could Google that too
Yeah.
She
to see
could
Yeah.
what other
AI
people.
Yeah, she could.
That makes
Sounds like
me
an
kind of
opportunity.
nervous, to be
Yeah,
honest.
it does. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Sounds like an opportunity to interview other TCs, Susie.
I
Hmm.
know.
I
I
also don't
mean,
like that she's not saying, "Hey, I actually don't have this,"
Yeah,
mhm,
I
and
was
lying
thinking
to
the same
you.
thing. I would
Like
much rather
this.
somebody just say to me like,
be
"Oh, you know
honest.
what? I honestly don't even have that
Hmm.
prepared. Let
Hmm.
me get that together for you." Like,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
How long has she been in business?
She over 20 years.
Oh, yeah, no.
As a TC or
So,
as like
so
interesting.
she's a licensed agent, and she's a transaction coordinator, and she's the
Oh,
owner of her
okay.
transaction coordinator
So maybe she just
business.
doesn't,
So
yeah, so she may not just not have this type of document prepared, but there's no like that's something like you could quickly prepare. I mean, you could chat GPT that for goodness sake.
Well, in a TC brain, if we look at a disk,
Yeah.
1000%, they have a list with another list.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
have lists with
A
their lists.
list and a list and a list with a list.
well,
So,
I mean, the
how,
reason why I bring it up is because you were talking about like leverage and like things to like take off
Mhm.
my brain. But and I feel like with the other companies, I'm used to like them making sure that like I'm
yeah.
where I need to be.
That's
But
how it's
like
supposed to
I have
be.
to keep a
Yeah.
list for her and then keep asking
Oh,
her
no.
like so
No.
say for
Mhm.
example that
So
I mean
you're leveraging
Yeah.
her, but she's leveraging you.
Yeah.
You're making her life easier.
okay, well I didn't mean to go off the conversation. Sorry.
No,
Oh,
it is leverage. I mean,
No,
we're
that's a
talking to,
really important
yeah.
nuance because there is, and I know we're at time here, so I'll make this quick, but there is a scenario where with the wrong hire,
Yeah.
it's the opposite effect. It's adding to your plate. It's adding to your stress and taking your time, and we just can't have that. So
what
I
is the
would,
phrase? Slow to hire, quick to fire,
yeah,
Mhm.
right? So
But the problem is that she's got so much experience.
that doesn't matter.
It's
That's the
making,
rub,
it's
right?
stressing you out though.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's,
I
right.
She's
think what
supposed
I
to
would
alleviate stuff.
What
yeah.
I would probably
Yeah.
do is get a recommendation from someone else locally on who they use and ask if they would have the bandwidth to take on another agent client and just use someone who you know is really good and on the ball and has checklists. It's for me, it's a little bit of a red flag to not have that and then to say that you're going to do something and then not do it repeatedly. That's all kinds of red flags. So I'm
Mhm.
sorry to tell you that, but I'm sorry. Just being honest. I don't love that. If she doesn't have it, just say that and move on. But
Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome. All right, that was a weird note to end it on, but everyone have a good day. I'll see you next week. And do
Thank
reach out
you.
if you want a one-on-one business plan or if you know someone who does.
Have a good
Thank
week,
you. Have a
everybody.
good
Bye,
week.
everyone. Go get your time
Bye.
back.